This is the Natural Healing Reel, and I am your host, Jacquie Capstick. Today, I have another incredible guest in the natural healing fields, and her name is Mira Katyal. And did I say it right? This is what I do. Anyways, I have been pre-chatting with her and realized that I needed to get this on video for you guys because she's brilliant. And I'm really excited to have this conversation with you guys so that you can have another perspective on all the different experiences and modalities of health that she has learned and taught and is going to share with us. So welcome, and I'll let you take the floor.
Thank you, Jacquie. So yeah, what is it that you're looking to discuss today? Which area would you like to start in?
I think that the one that most excites you with your, like, maybe give us a little bit of your bio, like,
okay,
how you got started, what got you off on this path.
It's very interesting because my family has 4 Western doctors: my mother, father, sister, and brother-in-law. So my sister is a gynecologist, and my brother-in-law is the orthopedic surgeon. My mother is also a gynecologist. My father is into preventive childcare health. So I grew up in a very hospitalized and pro-medicine environment. And I completely and absolutely believe that. And I had studied science until grade 12 because my father wanted me to be a doctor as well. But I was very much interested. I'm not that studious type, and all the maths and extra science scared me. But I was always very curious. And I wanted to understand the mind and the greater world. And I went into psychology. However, it was not a great field at that time, and my father encouraged me to do business management, which I did, and I was into marketing, customer service, communication, writing for a good 20 years. But my curiosity is what got me into this. My kids were born in '96, and they were twins, and they would fall sick every month. Every new mother has experienced where her child gets fever, colds, cough, and you've just been to one round with the doctor and you're just relaxing, getting them well, and then another one comes along. And I had twins, and it was very bothersome, them falling sick all the time. So I went to my doctor and I said, how can I improve their immunity? And twins, they have a little premature and they don't have sufficient stamina. So she gave me some medicines, which I don't know why I never bought them. And Google was kind of new at that time, internet, and I discovered Edgar Cayce. Now, he is a sleeping prophet from America, and he would go under a trance and you ask him any question and he would answer it. He was actually a devout Christian. But when he answered, he would come up with such strange answers. And now I see the parallel between what he said and Ayurveda, which is what I'm specialized in now. And he would talk about God, the creation of the earth, the body, immunity. Anyway, he gave a soup or a juice for immunity. And it said, if you drink celery, lettuce, and carrot regularly, you can improve the immunity of the body. And I still remember I found that very ridiculous because, we are living in an age of advanced medicine, antibiotics, vaccines. And I thought, how can a carrot compete with antibiotics or vaccines, But being curious, I gave my kids regular juice. And it took me at least 2-3 years to realize that what Edgar Cayce had said was true. Because every September when school opens, there's a flu season and all the children, they have this uptick of flu and they bring it home. And then the whole family, goes around with one runny nose. And I started noticing that they were not getting that sick, despite the fact that their cousins and classmates and everybody was getting it. And it took me actually 3 years to realize that the carrot was working, and Edgar knew it, even though he wasn't a doctor, nothing. And he would even not answer the questions, in a conscious state. He would be under a trance. And then I looked at all the information he's giving, very profound, very beautiful, very spiritual. All holistic medicine is divine, and God is the source of why it is called holistic medicine, is because number one, it is whole. It doesn't leave parts of you behind. And the other thing is it is divinely inspired. And these are based on the laws of nature and how nature programmed us and how nature has given us solutions. So
I know who Edgar Cayce is from Dave, what is his name? Anyways, he's talks about UFOs and all of that. And he's supposed to be like a reincarnation of him, apparently. And when he puts the pictures beside it, he looks like him.
Okay. So, I should look it up.
Yeah, you should, because it's, kind of just funny how, yeah, anyways, he's supposed to be quite a lot of amazing information comes through from his transaction.
After that, I kept looking at other modalities and kept trying them on myself to improve myself mentally, physically. If there is a problem in my family, I will always try to solve it. Like if someone is depressed, it's not just you take them to the doctor, take antidepressants, and that's the end of the story. I will keep on looking for a solution where they can come back home. Now, the other person, my daughter or my friend, may not implement it. That's another story. But I always feel if God has produced a problem in this universe, there is a solution. All you have to do is look for it. So I have done so many things, but in the end, I realized all these things came from India, from the Vedic sciences, Ayurveda, yoga, and even Western Eastern astrology. They have the same base, and they're a complete theory about it. How the universe was born, how we are all composed, how we get out of balance, and how we can come back into balance. So now I have opened my business and I'm totally devoted to this. I've integrated all the things I've experienced myself. I've cherry picked all the best things and made it into a short thing so that you don't have to spend years getting well. You do the short thing, try it out on yourself, test it, and then bring it to your family. It's not that difficult to get back well. It's not that difficult. If you use the tools and techniques given by nature, it's just an acceleration of getting well. You can get well just even by doing one thing, but I prefer synergy. I prefer putting things together, and I think if you do it properly, within a week to, I think if you do 1 year dedicated, your life will change. Absolutely, inside out, mind, body, emotions, and even your gut. Everything should change if you have dedicated 1 year of proper lifestyle therapy. You'll feel happy.
I know that is true. I know that is true. We did some juicing. We did like the whole lots of juicing, but then I was doing the medical medium, the celery juice in the morning. And well, he even says if you do that, you won't get COVID, first of all. But right. And it's like, you know what, I feel really amazing when you actually just give to ourselves first, right?
Mm-hmm. So what's
the first thing that we let go, unfortunately.
So everybody is moving towards these kind of natural things, but it's like this one said this one said this, you should try this for 7 days. That's good. I like Ayurveda because it has a theory behind it. It stands strong. There is no ifs and buts. It explains your constitution. It explains what will work for you. So you don't have to test drive anything and say, oh, this worked. Why? Celery is good, but for very, very vata people, it's not that good. If they're already dehydrated and thin and over anxious, then too much celery is not good for them, because it's got a bit of a drying element also in it. So we have to moisturize the celery.
You have to moisturize.
And you have to make it warm. Otherwise, it's going to add to her problem, that person's problem.
Okay. See, this is exactly like what you're saying, right? Is there is so many different ways to do things. That, yeah, it gets confusing sometimes, right? As you know, milk's good for you, no, milk's bad for you. You know, do this, don't do that. You sleep 12 hours, or you know, you're wasting your life. You're sleeping your life away. Like, it all depends on. I think something has to really ring true within, right? Like,
so the thing is, first of all, it's not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
It's not like everybody should sleep 12 hours. Everybody should avoid milk. Everybody should be gluten free. No, there is a constitution, and your constitution, first question is, what is my constitution? This is the first place to start with. The second question is, how imbalanced is your constitution? Is it healthy, or is it aggravated? Is it dysfunctional? And then you have to bring in the opposite remedies to clear it and calm it down.
But I think that this kind of information that you're sharing is not well known enough.
Exactly. That's why I'm here on the podcast.
Right.
But I'll tell you, people understand this perfectly in the real world. Like, if someone burns their hand, you're not going to put pepper on it. You're going to put cold ice, right? Mm-hmm. So logical. But people have acid reflux all the time, and they keep eating spices. They're just putting fire upon fire.
Why, as humans, do we do that?
Because we lack knowledge. Because we have never been taught these fundamental concepts designed by nature. Only two areas have this knowledge. One is India and the other is China, through their traditional Chinese medicine. And Western medicine has overtaken the whole world because it does have a lot of strengths to it. It can do surgery, it can replace your heart, it can replace your lungs, it can save your life when you are having an accident. It can do a lot of drastic measures, but it cannot give you health, true health. You cannot have pills and regain health. You have to eat food. You have to have nice, good oxygen.
Well, and I think, I think even more than that is that you have to know how to connect. Like, you know, how when you were talking in the beginning, you were saying, you know, we're looking elsewhere. We're looking for answers, right? And nobody thinks to close their eyes and look within, right? Because apparently there's a full pharmacy in there.
See, that's what I tell to my clients is first learn to listen to your body. As soon as you eat a disturbing meal, something will happen. Either you'll feel bloated or very heavy and lethargic or burping or gas or burns. What does this mean? That your meal wasn't nourishing your body. You took the wrong meal. Look at the poop. How is your poop? Is it unhealthy or healthy? No doctor talks about the poop, but Ayurveda talks about your poop because they want to know how is your intestine, how is your GI tract.
Oh, okay, well, here's the thing, right? My 3-year-old, she loves the potty talk, and elderly, my mom used to love to talk about poo. But other than that, people don't talk about poo. It's just maybe one of those, you know, just.
It's because modern medicine used to look at poo, but with the advent of all these testings of like blood test and all this, whatever they do, and all these, all kinds of tests they have, I remember in the olden times when my mother and father were becoming doctors, they used to take the blood, the pulse, and they used to check the eyes and the tongue and everything. Now all that observational skills have been sidelined, and now they just get some tests done so that they can check what the urine is saying, what the blood test is saying, so what the X-ray is saying. It's more digitalized. What the ultrasound is saying. I think they've moved away from that look at the body kind of.
Well, I think in the Western, I don't know that we were ever taught to look at the body. I think that unless you're in a certain, religion. Like my granny was a Christian Scientist, and everything had to do with
all the granny generations used to look at the body. It's been lost in the last generation, not only here, everywhere in the world, including in China and India. Everybody has been mesmerized by Western medicine, and they've lost the art of listening or even looking at their daily body.
Right, 100%, 100%. And I know that I really like this kind of stuff. I totally love my doctors, and I'm glad that they're there. If broken arm and a this and a that, but we use them for everything in the West. We think that we don't anymore, but I think that if we could share this knowledge, that so many more people would feel comfortable to know what it is that they're looking for, right?
See, things have become really, really bad. First, we even used to make our food. Now people have stopped shopping, they don't even know where a vegetable comes from. Some of the children think they come from fast food places. They don't know vegetables are grown in plants, and you're losing the connection. Like people used to grow their food, they used to cook their food, they used to buy stuff and cut it. Now they don't even cut it, it's pre-cut. You're losing that relationship with food, and food is the source of our health. You can't replace food with plastic and medicines.
Absolutely, you're totally right. And I just learned about the power, how powerful that is. Actually, I met a lady from France, and she'd bless, and I love that she would do that with everything before she'd eat anything. But not only was she blessing her food, she was blessing everybody's food. And she said that it just changes. It starts to vibrate differently. You digest it better. You get more nutrients out of it. Really? I didn't know that.
It's an emotional connection you make with food. Don't forget, nature also has life in it. It is an intelligent being. Right. All the 5 elements that the universe is composed of, they're not just like water you drink from the river, is also a living entity. It has its intelligence, It's not an inert, dead stuff. We're all intelligence flowing in and out of each other. The water comes, the air comes. If you get polluted air, your body becomes polluted. If you get fresh, beautifully from virgin forest, the same air will nourish your body in the virgin life with prana. What is prana? Prana is so critical, but nobody talks about prana in Western medicine because they don't know what prana is. Prana is energized, beautiful, life-giving air and water and food, not polluted, not deadened.
This is so powerful. You know what? It's like, of course, when I'm sure anybody listening to you will be going, well, yeah, we know that, but we're just not doing that. I really have become more conscious just over the last year of, anyways, it's incredible, I think.
So let's just say the doctor is your caregiver, health caregiver. And who is below the doctor? You first go to your family doctor, right? Who's below that?
You.
The homemaker. The homemaker is the first health therapist inside the home.
Oh, okay, of course, yes.
So if the homemaker doesn't know how to cook, how to read the body or provide simple solutions, you have broken the first basic link in society in every home.
Wow.
The grandmother used to teach her children. And now we've become so modernized. We just order food. We read the labels. Like, did God write the labels on the banana skin? No, they gave you the 6 senses to understand your food by taste, by smelling, by looking. Those are the labels that tell you which food are good. There are 6 tastes in Ayurveda: bitter, astringent, pungent, sweet, and which ones am I missing?
Sour?
Sour, sour, and salty.
Salty, sour. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's how all animals and human beings decide what to eat. This is the labels we should be familiar with. You should be smelling your food and sensing your food and seeing which one is it, which season is it, what is it cold, what's going to make you warm now, is it spring, what's going to start detoxing you. You know, dandelions grow in spring. Do you know why? Because you're supposed to eat them and detox your body.
In the springtime.
What did you say?
In the springtime is when you're supposed to detox. Interesting.
Yes. So
I did
nature is already ready for you with their supplies. Now you want to get kiwi from New Zealand in winter. Obviously, you're not going to detox because it's winter. You're supposed to eat the food that the land around you produces in the season it produces.
I do try to do that. I did hear that like years ago, and I am conscious of that because, you know, the fruits that we want to eat, they're not good anyways. They're just a waste of your money, right? Flown in from somewhere.
That's what I'm attempting to do. I know there is also advanced Ayurveda where you're so unwell that you go to an Ayurveda doctor and they will bring you back and rejuvenate and re-nourish your body. I'm not at that. I want to talk to the homemaker. I want you to know what's your constitution, how to recognize imbalances, and how to use the nature around you to support yourself in good health and happiness. That's all.
Well, that's huge. That's huge for me because I'll tell you, I was having this conversation earlier with my husband. You know, they say that we mimic our parents, or right, as children, right? We're watching until we're 7 years of age and then we go out and blah, 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 right? So my mom was a workaholic. She wasn't really a homemaker. She loved to be the homemaker, but it was, yeah, she didn't really have the time to do it, right? So it was in the middle of the night. She'd be making stews because she couldn't sleep because she was trying to wind down from, anyways, it's, I didn't really think about that as an adult. I kind of have always done my best on what I would have wanted, but at my age, 50, where I am now, I have dinner to cook still every night because I keep having kids, right? More every 9 years I've done a kid, then I have a few more in a row, right? Ran out of time, but I find it, my attitude towards it is, it's like, oh, what are we having tonight? What's for dinner tonight? It's such a, like it's almost like a stressor.
It is. It has become, because now women have started taking double roles. First, they would work entirely inside the home or around the home area. So yes, now women are very busy. They are working outside, plus they don't have extended family support. I understand they cannot cook and they cannot do the things that their grandmothers did, but we can do very, very simplified stuff and still do it. We have to improvise with the times. So maybe we can just get some vegetables and put them in a crock pot, and just one hearty, nourishing stew is enough to feed the family, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. We did a little bit of a compromise. My husband likes me to shop for the food. And I think that there's something very valuable in that because you're actually picking your food, and there is an energetic thing there for me, right? As if you get it dropped off, which you can do now. But we started that Hello Fresh 3 nights a week, just because then all the ingredients are there. It's something, a new menu or a new something to, anyways, it's funny, but my husband, he's like, I don't like it. And now he's, oh, it was pretty good tonight, But it's funny because he had that homemaker.
Right. It doesn't matter whoever is, like that one role model needs to be there. And even if it's once or twice a week, at least move up from zero. Like,
Oh, yes.
let's not try to be like a grannies, but let's have a ritual or something, or weekend, or you have to get your hands back into food from
Yeah.
nature.
100%. I'm with you 100%. And I have some work to do there. I do cook, but I find it tough. You know what I mean? It's just, I find it a grind, and I just need to change my perception maybe.
I think the next generation understands a simpler life, and they're trying to bring it back in. And it happens. We go up and down in our knowledge and patterns of life. And we can only provide knowledge and information. And then some people will pick it up, and we can go back to the rhythms of nature. We have to be with nature. We cannot flow against her. If you flow against her, you cannot have health or happiness. Doesn't matter if you're the CEO of a company or the prime minister of a country or live in a huge palace, you will be unhappy and unhealthy. It doesn't matter, irrespective of your status in life.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot oppose nature and be happy and healthy. Impossible.
Well, I think that right now with the energy is so fast and furious that if we're not going in the flow of things, we're pushing against things is not working, right? Because you're getting more of it. But
I think we're all against nature right now. That's why every second person has mental issues, mental stress and mental health has taken a nosedive. Mm-hmm. Even though our lives are so much easier than our grandparents who went through wars and so much horror, we are weaker than them mentally. Or our health is also, okay, we are living longer, I agree to that, but we have a lot of underlying diseases, and a lot of the health is due to vaccines and antibiotics. It's not due to good eating habits. We have been artificially protected. Our body has received extra immunity through these scientific methods, but underlying that, we have a lot of sickness. We have diabetes, we have heart issues, we have mental issues, we have allergies. Every second person is allergic. And from childhood, when I was growing up, nobody was allergic. I'd never heard of anybody being allergic. And these are all very common things. Then what else? Everybody's digestive system is compromised. A non-compromised digestive system means you poop daily, and you have no constipation or diarrhea, and you don't have bloating, you don't have acid reflux, you don't have heaviness, you don't have, it just goes through it's digested and goes out. This is what a proper healthy digestive system should do. How many people have that? Maybe one in 500?
I don't know. I went to Europe and my digestive system was working like it had never worked before. And I thought to myself, what is the difference here from home? So relaxation, carefree. So the emotions, like I think a lot of times, I'm always, I'm holding tight, right?
Or
in fight or flight.
Yes. You actually hit on a very important point. If your body is not relaxed, it will not digest properly. In fact, there's a saying in Ayurveda, if you are in a bad mood, angry, don't eat. It will turn the food into poison. You should only eat in calmness and serenity. You should not be eating on the go, running, stressed, unhappy, angry, anxious.
So, question, what do you suggest to people? So my husband, he grew up with brothers. And so it's fascinating because, growing boys, right? I assume, or I've made this story up to myself that that's what, they were trying to get more than the other or whatever, right? That's how I kind of just envision it, because they still eat very fast, right? And so, my brother probably told me that story growing up, that's, what him and John, my other brother, would do, right? So probably that's where I got that from. But what would you suggest to people to, how do you start? Like where is,
See,
you
I
know,
understand in this very fast moving age, it's very difficult to understand how to be slow and in touch with nature. So I would only suggest just take baby steps and incorporate what you can, and then let it go for a bit. Then again, incorporate, let it be a little small journeys, take a break, then take a small journey. Then that's how you have to upgrade your lifestyle. If everybody started doing the absolute ideal gold standard, nobody would do it because it would be overwhelming.
Yeah.
We have to understand the times we live in. We cannot pretend we were living when there were no trains, planes, internet, nobody disturbed you after 5 p.m. You were home and enjoying, and you had no TV to distract you. So that's not our reality today. So within this reality, we have to make changes, okay? So if someone is working at office and they have only a half an hour break and they're still thinking about their customers' issues, how do you think they can be relaxed for their lunch? They won't be. Even if you tell them to be, they won't be. So just wherever you are, start wherever you are and improve that status. And you learn the basics of how health and happiness can be derived through Ayurvedic lifestyle, and then implement what you can within your capacity. And even those tiny changes make you can see the result. It's not that you have to reach there, only then you will see the result. Even if you start with 2-3 things, you will start noticing, yeah, this is feeling better than this is. And then you feel happy and excited, and then you try to bring it in for your other family members. It's very enjoyable when you start it. In the beginning, it sounds very daunting and, oh, I can't do this, I don't cook. And, okay, don't cook, at least put oil on your body or just drink warm water. You can do that. I mean, there's so many things. I cannot put it together because there are millions of things you can do. So
the warm water and lemon in the morning, is that a real thing that works?
Yeah. So what happens is the digestive system is itself like an oven, right? So when you put warm water and lemon, it just kind of cleanses it. It's a tract, right? It needs cleansing. So lemon is very cleansing. You know that even if you rub the sink with it, it starts shining. So yeah, that's what lemon does. That's why people say that.
My daughter's been on this little kick for a while, and I'm proud of her because she's been, pretty consistent with it. For my other daughter was just talking about it, right? She says she's drinking on her, on her Instagram, she drinks hot water and lemon for her morning drink. And I'm like, yeah, she is now. She's one of those coffee hounds, right? Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee.
Oh, yeah, like coffee is the perfect toxin for the morning GI system. It has nothing to cleanse it. So, and especially after you've slept the whole night and it's a kind of a fast. And when you are sleeping or relaxing or fasting, the body starts cleansing. So when it's working, it's digesting, right? When you're eating and you eat and it goes to the tummy, it starts digesting. That's work, okay? So when we are working in the daytime, we have 3 meals. So the whole body is in a busy mode. But when you are sleeping, relaxing, or fasting, or you go on a cleanse, you give less food to the GI tract. So it starts cleansing. And when it's cleansing, it starts releasing things that's put here and there and starts bringing it back and trying to push it out of the body. So what happens early morning when you have woken from your whole night's sleep and the body has tried to cleanse, and you drink that warm water with a little bit lemon, it gives a little bit boost to the cleanse instead of coffee or tea or other stuff that we put in. That is not going, it's doing the opposite. That's why in Ayurveda, they say, have first thing in the morning, drink warm water. If there are other combinations, but warm water is the basic.
What I've done the warm water, and that's 100% right. It feels different. It feels like clean and good. But then I go back to the coffee, right? It's interesting to me that you kind of let the good things go and go back into the, you just become unconscious, I guess, right? And go back into patterns.
This is a perfect term, what you used, unconscious. We are in unconscious living mode. We have no clue how our body works. We have no communication or observation of our body. And we just blindly follow the internet. Oh, this one said that, this one diet will help me. There is no connection, to Mother Nature. There is no connection to your body. There's no observation. There is no inner work. So we are unconsciously living our lives and unconsciously grabbing stuff, Red Bull, coffee. I'm tired, I'm depleted. Give me a Red Bull. I need a pick me up. Have you seen models? They exist on no food. 10 coffee cups will keep them going. One day they'll crash,
But there is no connection there, right? They're just, everything is exterior, right? They're looking for everything out there to fix.
So, when you drink coffee, you suddenly get a boost, right? And then you get a headache later and irritability and you're so frazzled. And by nighttime, you have no patience. Anyone ask for anything, you say, please leave me alone.
Is that what that is? It's from coffee?
So, yeah, because coffee is bitter and it's it's stimulating and it's not supporting, it's not anchoring.
Mm-hmm. What else do you suggest to drink? So in the morning, warm water and lemon, the carrot, celery, and juice.
Yeah, carrot, celery, especially good during the spring season till summer, and then you can switch to soup in fall and winter because now the body needs more warmth. I'm just talking generally in broad terms, not according to your constitution. And it would be nice to have a very grounding meal in the morning, like oats, warm oats. Not smoothies are good, but they're cold. So you need to warm them. This country, it's a cold country, you need warmth in your tummy in the morning. So oats, some warm dish, a nice, that's going to sustain you because now at 12 o'clock is your peak activity time. So you need a nice strong meal to give you the energy boost that you're going to spend the whole day doing.
I like to make the porridge because I had an aunt and uncle that had a big cattle ranch, and Auntie she'd have the big pot every morning of that porridge, and then come the fresh cream from, the cow that was just milked, right? So, oh my goodness, it was just, you just never forget it. So of course I always try to replicate that. It's never quite the same as Auntie Edna's, but it's because it's probably not being made for me with love, right?
Yeah, in those days, people had a lot of physical labor and we are still working, but we are now working mentally more. Like we go into offices and we're exhausted mentally, so we have to tweak the things around a little bit to start supporting mental health a little bit more. Even with food, you can support health. There are certain foods which are more nourishing to the mind and herbs. So we are not farmers. We're not working on the land so much, most of the people. But they're still working. They're still going to schools, teaching, and nurses and doctors, which is both physical and mental work. And most of the people are in universities and schools, and they're very tired and exhausted mentally. And so much social media, and they're so tired.
I think everybody's trying to keep up, and I find the social media very hard to keep up. Some people are so great at it and just thrive in it. And for me, it's like, oh, how many emails is there? And there's something over here. And
it's a necessity, but it's not good for the mind. It's not good for mental health. So the more social media you do, the more less patience and less happiness you should have as a byproduct.
My work that I have been doing over the last few years is breaking down the patterns and the loops that, just having a bunch of trauma or whatever, it just really kind of, I started having all kinds of very strange things happening and actually not even be able to start and finish a project for a long time. It took me a while. I was doing some the biofeedback.
I've heard. Yeah.
I came home after, I think it was my 4th session, and I actually started to make a salad and finished it and was like, Oh my God. Because I would be over here and over there and like just not grounded. I'd be doing 5 or 6 things at once and then just get overwhelmed and be like, because my brain was not processing properly anymore, right?
Now, this is what I'm saying. When you're overwhelmed, your body's telling you you're too busy. This is what we should be listening to. You don't need complex science. Everything your body's telling you, when your skin is dry, it's telling you, I need moisture. If there is burning sensation in your body, that means there's too much fire. If you're feeling foggy and clarity is not there, that means you need some cleansing. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it means slow down. But we stop listening to all this stuff. This is how the body.
I think we're so busy trying to get our duties done, right? To be enough, right?
Let me explain it like this. Now everybody is a tree, one tree, on which grows a banana and an apple and an orange and a nut and an egg. That's what we are. We don't have to be all of these things. Each one of us has an essence that we came with that is supported by nature. When we got a body and our nature also, it was given to us through our parents, through nature, and there was a design in it. And that design is enough for you, for each person. I don't have to be
we don't know that though. We weren't taught that. But you know what? That is what we need to know right now. We need this information. We need to know that we have this.
And you need trust of nature to accept that who you are is complete.
But we don't know that. Nobody's been taught that. And so that's where all the mental in the West, I think, I have been, I understand all that, but then you've got to implement that into your life. And when you've not had the knowledge or the understanding, you're just, the body's running the mind and you're all over, or I was.
I'm starting this back to nature course through Ayurveda. So where you learn the basics of nature and yourself.
Well, so when is that
starting? Probably going to start with, I'll put up the information on my social media and start it online because everybody's far away and online and this is the reality. Mm-hmm. Of course, the best way to learn this is hands-on, but there will be ways, worksheets, activities where you do at home and experience it yourself. But also there will be optional where you come to a 2-3 day retreat and experience it directly. But I know it would not be for everyone to come. Everybody cannot just come where I am, and learn it. So that's why I want to make it a flexible program. But eventually this knowledge should be taught in schools, in primary schools, where you learn to talk to your body and to the nature around you. Everybody lives on an earth space with plants and trees and animals. We should be in communication with things around us and inside us.
I really, really, really believe that. That's what we need to know more than anything else, I believe.
We do not need to learn how to do bypass heart surgery or how to fix defective kidney. There are specialists for that. Mm-hmm. We need to learn how to understand imbalance and how to divert the flow back to balance. That's all each homemaker needs to know. That's it.
You are amazing. I love it. I love your message. It's powerful and it's the truth, right? It really is. And I think we really, really need to get this information out. Like this is my passion for doing this podcast is exactly that, is to share. So many people have all of this information that we just don't know. We're just in our pattern of doing what we did yesterday, right?
Right. Yeah, this is going to be the essence of all our grannies' information that they would have taught from generation to generation teaching the mothers and their children, which has somehow been broken after World War II, when all the women started working outside and they didn't have time to do both. They couldn't bring a paycheck and nourish their homes. But it's still doable if the whole family does it together in small bits and parts. I think it's very doable. It's very easy. It's not an alien science. It's not, you just have to try it and test it in very small ways. If your body says, yes, this is working, then believe it. Believe the principles of Ayurveda. Yeah. Drink hot water, put oil on your skin and see if your skin feels better, and then test it. Let your own senses verify and validate the science. Don't go by, oh, this one said it and that one said it.
But I did here, I'm going to say this to you though. This one did say this, then I'm going to ask your thoughts on it, because I got off of the olive oil and onto the coconut oil a few years back. And of course I use that on my skin and, you know, everything with it. I love it. But I was hearing in a podcast yesterday that olive oil is this magical, it has stuff in it we need to have, and that we need to, that it's a myth that you can't have the high heat, which, you know, all those years I was cooking with olive oil, and then along came a story that you can't cook, it was only for salads and stuff like that. So then I moved over to the coconut oil thinking that, you know, so I hardly get any olive oil anymore. But there's something in this olive oil that if we have every day, we will, it's like phenomenal.
Let me tell you about all the oils. All the oils produced by nature and God are magical, and especially for the natives of those land. And it is designed to protect the beings. Each one has a quality. Like, for example, coconut oil is cooling. So you, as I normally tell people in a very basic, this is how you start Ayurveda. There are 5 elements and 3 constitutions. So the 5 elements are filtered into the 3 constitutions. And if you are very fiery, then coconut oil is very good because it's got those cooling things with it. But if you're very dry, then sesame oil is very good because it's a very deeply nourishing oil, okay? If you are very already having a lot of moisture and earth within you, which is called kapha constitution, then another oil will work for you. All the oils are magical. Each oil has very special medicinal properties. For example, castor oil can heal so many body problems, but you can't cook with it. But you have to understand these oils, and these oils are a part of understanding Ayurveda, you know, oil is food. So we do use oils to cure ourselves, and any natural oil is good for cooking, okay? So it's not just cooking, you can apply oil on your body. You can apply, if you're very dry, you said you have an issue with dryness, just get cold pressed sesame oil and moisturize after bathing, put it all over your body. Before you shampoo your hair, one day before, or at least 2 hours before, massage your scalp with sesame oil and then shampoo. And after, say, 4 to 6 months, you'll start noticing the dryness is reducing. Because now, even through the skin, the skin also takes in nutrition, you know, the skin also absorbs nutrition. So when you put natural stuff, it's actually absorbed by the skin and uses it for its own purpose.
Which is better than any creams, because now you've got like a food going in to your largest organ, right?
Yeah, so I had I used to use all these lotions from the store like everybody else. But when I learned Ayurveda, and I had a very big problem with dryness and my heels were in very bad shape, then my Ayurvedic teacher said that I have not seen anyone who doesn't use sesame oil for 6 months and the heels are not healed. And I said, oh, one of those fads. But I did it because, you know, I'm curious and very experimental. And now my heels are totally different. So I started using oil all over my body. I threw out my lotions, and my daughters, they use these expensive creams and this, that, costs about 200, 300 for the whole bunch, and this and that. I said, just throw these and use this sesame oil, it's enough. And she said, no, you don't understand. You are like this and me was like that. And I said, okay, whatever. I would use my oil and she would hers. And then she started seeing my skin change. And now she's thrown her oils and she comes and opens my cupboard because I have all these kind of array of oils, hair oil, special this, because in Ayurveda, you also have medicated oils. Means they put herbs in it and cook it, and then they make it for a special purpose. Like if you're too dry, I mean, that's going into Ayurvedic medicine now. So she'll open my cupboard, pick out the hair oil, and I'm looking, where's my hair oil? Where's my hair oil? When I open her cupboard, it's lying there because she knows that all the things I have are extra powerful now because they're all made by nature now. There's nothing, there is no chemicals in it, nothing. They're just compositions of herb and natural stuff, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And sesame oil is probably the only oil I don't have.
As a dry person, that's the most penetrable. So it doesn't matter what you cook with, but yeah, use olive oil, use sunflower, as long as it's natural, unprocessed, not hydrogen turned around, denatured, just the natural cold press. Don't buy stuff which is like, what do they say? Margarine is vegetable oil turned into butter. Don't use those products.
No.
Use natural, extracted from nature.
Just being aware and thinking, right? Like what? Yeah, I love this. This is good information. You're wonderful. Wonderful. I'd like to take, I'd like some information on your business. What is the name? Like, what did you call?
It's called Mira Om, MIRA, OM.com. And all the information is there. All my connections to my social media. I have a podcast, Zen Time with Goddess of Healing. I sometimes do YouTube. I have Insta. So I try to put the information everywhere, but the best place to reach me is through my website because that's like the headquarters. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I write articles, blogs. I try to put all nuggets of information here and there. But so Ayurveda is like an ocean. So it's very hard to explain it in one session or two sessions. You really have to dip your toes into it to really experience Ayurveda.
I have kind of gone in and out, just with Deepak Chopra or whatever, and just, different books here and there, but I never have, and I'm bad for this. I didn't stick with,
It's not your fault because the way they explain it, they just go too conceptual. I'm going to try to introduce it as a experiential course. Experience it with you and your problems.
That's the only way, I think, because you need to know how to implement it. Otherwise, it's just
nobody is going to believe it unless they verify it for themselves. Only then you're going to trust Ayurveda. And Ayurveda has been around for 6,000 years. If it was a silly science, it would have died by now.
Do you know, I think that it has to be backed by, I love the fact that there's so much science coming behind this stuff now and making it it makes it more potent, right? Because people can't just say, oh, your herbs or your, sprays or your smudging, you just woohoo, right? It's like, it's like hardcore science now that these things are powerful, that works with the energy. This is what's happening,
It pulls everything together, and plus even science has backed it. Now all the universities are studying Ayurveda. Before they were studying yoga. Yoga has become very popular, and now Ayurveda is kind of coming back into awareness. People are researching it, they are verifying it and validating the truths behind it. So it's not even just a tradition, it's backed by research as well. So, and then they even adopt it now. They're adopting it because they see it's working. So even some hospitals, whichever area they research and verify, then they adopt it. So, but it's a slow and long process. To do research, it takes time.
Well, I think right now too, with all of the fear and everybody feeling so out of control, this is some information and like wisdom from the ancient, like centuries and centuries, right? That, yeah, it's something to put in your toolbox, right? Because we need more than just a medical doctor with some pills. We need
First person
to balance and try to help ourselves with
the mother, the homemaker, the parents are the first providers of health and happiness. You cannot skip them. Nobody can do that job. Not the doctor also. The doctor will fix what's broken, but they cannot make you healthy and happy. That is the work of every homemaker.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, it is the duty of every person to learn the life skills of how to survive with nature, how to work with nature. This is the reason we were born, to have a dialogue with nature, not to be a doctor and have 4 houses or to have 4 cars and to be a fashion model. This was not the purpose of life. The purpose is life to be in communion with nature and understand yourself and understand everything around you. And then you be whoever you want to be.
Yeah, isn't that so much nicer than where we've been, right? I do believe that where we live out here in British Columbia, so many people have gardens and have home.
Yes.
And it's powerful. And I think that that shift is growing, hopefully.
It is definitely growing. Everybody feels the vacuum created by technology, the comfort, the touch, the tangible neat part of nature is missing. Nobody can, nothing will replace that. You have to talk with nature and be with nature. You cannot replace that with technology.
Yeah, you know what, we just weren't raised like that in the West. And you know what, I totally get what you're saying. And it's a thing. It really, really makes you feel connected and grounded and makes your life a lot nicer, but it's just not our natural thing to do. It's something that we have to practice and create,
relearn
new patterns.
Relearn the art of living.
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds silly, I guess, but you know, like just me explaining, like I didn't see a home, you know, how to do the homemaking thing. I just did what I, didn't have. But I think in the fast-paced world, and someone likes chicken, this one doesn't like that, the short order cook thing, you just go, I'm tired of this.
So the thing with your next child is involve them with feeling, cutting, growing. Yeah. Let them suggest stuff, play with food.
Yeah, we do. It's not as bad as I probably but I think just through, you go through the value.
Yes, I understand. We have a pattern in society which we have to extract ourselves out of.
You're 100% right. I'm so glad that I had this conversation with you today. I didn't realize that I was going to gain so much awareness about where I am headed, because I know that I definitely am. This is one of the paths that I really need to put some awareness in, because I have, I just haven't really.
So we're all searching, like I was searching. It's just that I'm a little bit, maybe I started the search a little bit earlier. So we're all of us have this kind of awareness that something is missing, and we're all searching. So we have to pool our knowledge and just help each other out, This is.
Yeah, and I think for myself, I've always kind of, but it's secular, right? Like I get into it, I'm doing this, I'm juicing, super healthy. I'm at the gym every day. But like I go for a really good, and then, things will happen and
I know.
Get off track. And then it's just remembering, to get started again, right? Like don't stay.
Which is fine, because we
don't stay down too long, right?
We're not linear, like we like this when we grow. 2 steps backwards, then it's fine. Let's embrace our natures.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I really, really appreciate your time today. And I would like to put all of the information with on my website with yours, and we can connect. And if you have anything else exciting, any new courses or whatever, please.
I will send you some links, and then you can put it in your website.
I would really appreciate that. I think I'm going to be on that course that's coming up. I think that would be just perfect for me.
So,
My husband will love that. Oh, another course.
For your encouragement and for letting others also know about it. I mean, it's one thing to do a course, but to really, it would be a great, I first turned my life around. I'm trying to turn my kids, trying to be an example. And I would love all the other children of the world to know that this is the way to the true road to health and happiness.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. Well, you know what? You're making a big difference. So good on you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time. That's awesome. Okay. Talk soon.